Hello my ghouls and ghoulies and welcome back to more Vampyr. My name is Torin Blackleg and today we will be talking still for a good while, I believe, in this episode, because there's still a couple of members of the staff that we have to meet and also some patients from the hospital. Now, I believe that the game was saved correctly when I left it, but when I came into the game now, I was outside of the hospital. So I'm hoping that what I've already spoken with our companions, or our fellow staff members, will be saved. Guess we'll see in about a moment. Actually, let's try and talk.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I hope that I did get safe. Okay, I think it did. Good.
Goodbye,
For a moment, I was a little bit worried there. All right. Got some patients over here. Yeah, this place doesn't look very sanitary. A good thing that we are a vampire.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reid, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
All right. Well, there's a little bit of animosity here, I think. Let's try and ask him a little bit about London. I suppose we can be straightforward.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Yeah, there's no need for such animosity.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Right. Well, talk a little bit about the hospital.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Okay, that's a new hint for Dr. Waverly. Waverly disapproves modern medicine methods. Okay. Well, perhaps we can ask something personal. Do you have any bad memories of your military service?
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Right. I have proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Well, I have saved many lives.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
Okay. Well,
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
guess we are not gonna be very friendly with him unless do something to press him, perhaps. Pretty sure we have already spoken with
What
Dr.
can I do
Crane.
for you, Doctor?
Yes, we have.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
You always knew the words to calm the
circumstances,
children,
I'm willing to
Helen.
give you the benefit of the doubt.
As for me,
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Okay. Well, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reid.
And the doctors are arguing about your case?
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about the hospital?
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reid? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Okay. Can't ask anything personal from him yet.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Right, 4 glass vials. And an unfinished letter. Pembroke Hospital, 2nd of November. My dear children, sorry I did not write to you before, but it hurts like hell just to write these few words on bloody paper. Don't worry, Daddy will go out of the hospital as soon as the doctor fixes his arm. Meantime, you need something, go see Mr. Chadwick at the construction site and tell him you are Harvey Fiddick's children. You remember Robert Chadwick? The big guy with a mustache who helped me repair the house doors last spring? Go see him and ask for a few bob. He won't refuse to spare you a few. I'm sorry, I can't work anymore for now, but we'll figure out something as soon as I'm out. Don't worry, everything will be fine as soon as Daddy's arm is strong again. As soon as the doctors have fixed my arm, and he didn't continue to write. We have a new hint. Harvey will not be able to feed his family as long as his arm is still injured. Yeah, that is a pretty bad situation, sure.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Hey, who are these?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Hey. Suppose we can't ask anything. Well, we can ask him about himself.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Okay. How painful is your throat?
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Well, we must communicate.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Right?
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Okay.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reid? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Alright, can we ask anything personal of her? Doesn't seem like it, at least not right now. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Well, if she's talking like that, she must be rich.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What are you doing in your life?
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Hey. Do you have any complaints about your reception here?
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Alright, can we use our powers here to learn a little bit more?
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
So, she charged you?
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Yeah, I share your stupor indeed.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Yeah, these guys are charging for beds when they should be free.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Alright. Nothing else around here.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
It'll take me a little bit to learn the layout of the hospital and talk to everyone. I'm not sure how many people do you actually get to talk to. We had already read this one. The hospital is full due to the influenza. Haven't spoke with him yet.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reid. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reid.
Well, it's nice to get one doctor who likes us, and then we have another one who doesn't. I suppose that's why they are also at odds with how to treat the arm of the other patient. Hey, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reid. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Can you tell me about your experiments?
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Ben, what made you choose that career?
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Well, I'll be glad to help you.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Right. We talk about the Pembroke Hospital.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Well, you seem quite optimistic.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need any help?
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reid. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Right, we have a new investigation. Let's learn a little bit more about Aykroyd's aversion for modern methods.
What do you think of Dr. Aykroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Aykroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Aykroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Right. Yeah, they, they certainly have a bit of a animosity there. When we talk about your blood transfusion technique,
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reid. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
can you tell me Mr. Fiddick's story?
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Right.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Right, I think that's everything that we can get from him at this time.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
We also got some more hints. Authorities' experiments in blood transfusion have not been successful yet. Then we also have Harvey Fiddick. Harvey is blaming himself for his injury. There's another hint, but we don't know yet what it is. I think we also got one for the other doctor. Ah, not yet. I believe this is Milton's girlfriend.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Alright. Let's start with some simple questions. You've been a nurse for how long?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Well, surprised.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Eh? Well, how is the staff coping?
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton so grumpy?
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
We got another. Milton runs rackets. No, we already have that one. Milton's reputation is mediocre among his colleagues. Oh, we have everything for him now. Well, I understand about his reputation since he's charging for pets and he also is smuggling weapons. Why especially the practitioners?
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Alright, how is the situation here?
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Get a grip.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Well, the Spanish flu won't last forever.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Well, let's ask her about her relationship with Milton.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes, Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
Right. Yeah, you're Milton's accomplice.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Why did you do it?
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
Put a price on hope.
You put a price on hope. This goes against everything you swore to uphold as a nurse.
Report me then, Dr. Reid. Report the little nurse and keep on lying about the surgical errors, the wrong dosages and diagnostics that we all covered for the sake of our colleagues.
Well, whose idea was it?
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Right. Bitch. I believe that's everything for now.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Ah. Well, we can have a little talk with Milton as well and see what he says.
It's locked, all right.
Long letter. Birmingham, 27th of October. Hello, sis. How are things in the big city? Here in Brum, things are not so good. It seems the flu is here again, and we have many new cases of infection in the neighborhood. Do you remember Mrs. Scheller, the old drinking hag from the 3rd floor? She passed away 2 days ago, and her flat is already occupied again. Jeez, you would have to pay me a huge amount of money to go sleep in the bed in which a woman died of the flu just a few hours ago. Sorry, I did not take time to quickly answer your last letter. Between taking care of little Paul, Mom, Dad, and my job at the factory, I rarely find time to write to my favorite sister. By the way, my son says hello to his auntie Pippa. You should see the little bugger, already driving me mad. And Mom says you bring back some of those marvelous cakes the next time you come back home. Your last letter, you told me you thought about quitting your job at the Pembroke Hospital. I have to tell you, Pip, you better think twice. There are always jobs at the factory, but wages are shit, and it's boring as a day without a shack. Oh, I have a new fiancé, and no, I'm no slut, you moral bitch, you. Alright, so if you really want to quit and do something more useful than counting the dead every morning, maybe you better stay in London and join that band you told me about. Guard of Prevent, something like that? Never heard of them. But if they are, like you said, some sort of civil militia trying to make a difference, then maybe it's a good choice for you. Just be sure to let the others go in front. That's how my poor Billy got killed in France, by leading too many patrols. Bloody war. Anyway, come back as soon as you can, and give me all the good news before that. I'm your affectionate sister. Got another hint for Pippa. Pippa is thinking about quitting the Pembroke Hospital. Wait, was that all 3 for her? Ah, she's got 4. Alright, well, losing a nurse will certainly not help the situation at all. And that's the thing. They are not doing a very moral thing. But the hospital is already...
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Eh?
I cannot enter.
The doctor inside. Oh. Interesting. But how can you get on the other side?
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and then sadly depart. I'm managing a train terminal, not a morgue.
I suppose it's gotta be pretty... how you say it again? Depressing. Because at least the doctors here, I guess, you know, they talk with people that are alive still. But they will see a lot of them die as well. Yeah, I think we might be almost done.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Okay. Is she really?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Can you describe how you feel?
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome?
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Oh, we might understand a little bit more than she thinks. So are you a patient here?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Your enemies?
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. but I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Garden near the morgue. Don't you worry, we'll take care of you.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me, for I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Oh, we got another new investigation. We're gonna have our hands full. So who are you really?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Right. Well, we only see her at nighttime, so... About the use of garlic and wooden stakes. Dear brothers, I must now draw your attention to a very important point. The use of garlic as a protection against vampires. Let's be crystal clear on the subject. Garlic will never protect you against those creatures. No matter how fresh, how strong, and how smelly, garlic is totally useless as a defense. I can never say enough how damaging that novel of Bram Stoker has been. Yes, of course, population of Slavic countries place garlic cloves in coffins. Yes, of course, inhabitants of Santorini Island hang garlic in their windows. There would be so much to write about this place, and someday, soon. I hope to go back to this island to further explore its occult tradition. That is not to protect the living from the devil, it is to tell the dead that they are aware of their malevolence. It is a symbol, nothing more and nothing less. So please, by all means, yes, wear garlic, show garlic, hang garlic, and tell the shadows that you are not afraid. But if you are looking for supernatural protection, you will have to search much deeper to the forgotten secrets of the occult tradition. For here is the truth, my fellow brothers. Garlic does not repel vampire, but all the fresh plants will hurt them. It is as if their body could not stand the presence of botanical elements. I have seen an enraged bulb flee when whacked with a rose. Yes, a simple rose. I have witnessed a violent acorn fall down and beg for mercy when stuck by a wooden stake. I don't know why it is so effective, and I would give my left arm to find the answer to that mystery, but the truth remains nevertheless. Vampires are very sensitive to fresh herbs, plants and woods. From Facing the Shadows, How and Why by Usher Talltree, Primate of St. Paul.
The time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Okay. So we have him. Doctor over here. That's the... Yeah, that's the priest. Let's speak first with him.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Nasty. How is your stay with us?
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
And who is treating you?
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Right. Did you serve for long?
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Alright. Let's see if we can learn a little bit more about the vampire's disease.
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So you let her bite you?
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Well, it does know already that she's not alright in the head.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Wonder if she really is vampire, since she is also fighting him.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
You disgust
Oh,
on
no.
every street corner. The daily
Well,
routine.
if she was really a vampire, she will need a bit more than a few drops.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reid, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Right. Let's see. Tom Watts. I don't remember who Tom Watts was. Let's ask about William Bishop.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
So why did he abduct you?
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hallcroft.
Well, you are a hero or a fool?
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reid. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
How is the situation in the East End docks?
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
And who leads the gang now?
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
See, has the gang been threatening you?
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Didn't we save Clay Cox?
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Despair?
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
And what about corruption?
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Okay. Understandable. And good, if he learns something about us. So what do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
So, are you a priest?
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why not use your cross against William?
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Right, I guess he doesn't know then. Have you made friends since you arrived?
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Not sure which woman is he talking about though. How do you feel?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest, and then I can go back to the people who need me.
Alright, I believe... Yes, we have asked everything that we could
Goodbye,
from him.
Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Daily routine.
And this might be everyone can actually talk to in this. Still 2 persons. I haven't met, but I'm not sure who they are. Yeah, I'm not sure. But really, I thought we had saved Clay Cox. Maybe, because I remember, he got into a bed or something up here. But maybe that we haven't seen him yet because I still haven't gone to sleep. So we are still on the first day. Well, second, I guess, since he already slept one night and then, you know, when he tried to shut himself in the bed. This will be the second night.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Alright, let's see if we can ask him about the... Yeah, Nurse Hawking is your partner in crime.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
These guys are just taking advantage of everyone.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reid.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Alright.
Goodbye, Milton.
Well, that's everything that we can get out of him, and I suppose it's about time that we finally go to sleep. Nurses are needed now. In the name of mercy, they depend on you. Nurses are needed now. Inquire at the nearest appointments office of the Ministry of Labour and National Service or write to 15 Kingways, London. Alright, so Nurse Crane mentions second floor. If? Well, let's have a look in the second floor and we can also have a look in the third floor. Dr. Swansea. Maybe we can have a word with him as well. Alright, maybe not.
It's locked, all right.
Locked, okay. Oh, there's nothing around here. But we can also go to the third floor. Anything? And I realize I should be playing this game at night. Right now it's daytime, and if it gets really dark, can't see a whole lot with the light from the sun. Next time I'm gonna make sure that I record at nighttime. But this is not our room. But we can get a few things. Used hacksaw. A melee weapon. I use that instead of my knife. Let's see. 58 damage. Stamina 13.5. 65 damage, but this, it consumes a lot of stamina as well. And it doesn't do that much damage compared to my machete, so I think I'm gonna keep on with the machete. Of course, the machete is also been upgraded a little bit. The Elwood's medical file. The Elwood. Isn't Elwood the one with the broken... No, Elwood was the soldier we just spoke to. Patient. Thomas Elwood, male, age 28, followed by Dr. Tippett's. Status convalescence. Date of admission September 16th. Date of release to be determined. Notes. The patient's face has been heavily burned and disfigured by a bomb during the war. Even with the use of the strongest sedatives, he affirms to regularly endure severe pain from the wounds, as if the flames are still burning under the skin. He says, examinations of the cicatrized tissues show no trace of inflammation, infection, or swelling. Scars are clean. Could it be a case of persisting nerve damage? The patient never ceases to blame himself for his disfiguration. Could it be a case of guilt of the survivor, phantom pain manifesting as a punishment for not dying with his comrades? Got another hint for Thomas Elwood. Thomas feels responsible for his disfiguration during the war. I'm not sure if we can talk to him about that. Dr. Tippett, Dr. Strickland, and Dr. Aykroyd. They all share the office.
It's locked.
Locked, okay. I suppose that, if you got 3 doctors that have been here for a while, they all share the same office, and then Dr. Reid comes here all, new, first, second day, and he already has his office.
The pain. It's here again.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reid.
I will understand how the one doctor that doesn't like us too much will be a bit jealous about it.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Why the lie?
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Well, sure, surgery could help him, but I'm not sure how much. Yeah, we can tell him that beauty is not everything, but that's gonna sound like a kick in the balls to a person like him, so.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Didn't fail. Ouch, okay.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Okay.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Shame that we didn't get the other hint for him, and there's nothing that we can ask, or nothing that we can do now. I think about it, but I believe that sure it helps mostly with the quality of the blood. Perhaps it can also be used to go further in investigations, but since we are not planning to embrace anybody.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Oh, wrong with sleeping in a coffin. Article on icons. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege. I thought that he was saying something because ah, man. Oh well. I saw something down here like he was saying something, but anyways, it is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire, to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years while interviewing a few vampires, or icon as they prefer to call themselves. Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but a trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarms, surprise, necessity to flee. I have seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he had vanished just to reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements when they act so quickly, but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also notice that such speeds seems to exhaust them, and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerism. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this trait mesmerism, but it has nothing to do with the mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary widely from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one. The possibilities are endless and frightening. And this is what I didn't remember when I screwed up my save last time. I will remember now, and I will keep an eye on that for the future. Blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. Vampire confessed to me that blood could sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be very strong, or can be so strong. When he focuses, vampire can almost see blood around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If that is true, it could have so many medical applications, it almost beggars belief. And that's probably how we are seeing the quality of the blood in a person.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Flower is dying, it needs... I remember that I never really did figure out how help the plant, but I think I played for maybe 12 hours or something before 12, 15 before everything, you know, went to hell. So maybe I hadn't played long enough. So we can either sleep or no, we have to analyze William Bishop's blood at the workbench. Let's see, crafting. You first need to analyze the components you found to unlock new recipes. Click on the to analyze components. We also have clove essence. Clove essence has been used since antiquity due to its strong anesthetic properties. Analyze to view blueprints. Okay, I'm not sure what I did there. Oh, wrong button. So you have enough components to craft a medicine, treatment, or serum. Press to continue. Okay, so now I see what the cloth essence is for and the glass vials. Then codeine, potassium. Yeah, I remember I did heal some of the citizens. I actually really enjoyed that, collecting things and making cures for the different citizens around the city. We got a serum. Light regeneration serum. Regenerate 300 health points instantly, and 150 health points in over 15 seconds. So do we have to do it? It sounds really useful.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Yeah, literally, all eternity. Okay. Sleep. Sweet dreams. And we can level up a little bit. Gonna level it. Remember I had bite. Increase your life regeneration when using bite in combat. Increase the damage. Yeah, I would like to actually be able to heal a little bit when I bite somebody. Can get at least the first level. What else do we have? Offensive. Blood barrier. You create an invisible barrier absorbing direct damage until it fades or it's destroyed. That sounds pretty good. Coagulation. You will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defenseless. Huh. Good. Now, what are these ultimates? Drain your own blood to heal normal and aggravated damage. Yeah, maybe I should get some of that as well. You perform a supernatural move to your target and cause damage upon landing. Shadow Veil. Drain your stamina to fade into the shadows and become invisible to most enemies. Moving in this state will drain your stamina. You will exit the shadows if you attack or dodge, or when your stamina is empty. Okay, this can be one of those. Oh, level 5 required. Well, maybe if I get a point in something else. Increase your blood absorption when using bite in combat. Alright, let's get blood capacity. That way I can hold a bit more blood in my body. Get also this, so we can get more blood when we bite. How many points we have left? 900. Alright, I would like Shadow Veil so I can save my ass sometimes. 500 points. And that way I can become visible. And then Shadow Mist. I would like to also keep on working on my 1000. Wow. Alright. No, maybe a level 2 here? 1300. Okay, I think that's everything that we're gonna get out of. Maybe, sure. I do use bite a lot, so that's it. We don't have anything else. Also wanted to get blood barrier. How much is that? 600. I couldn't have gotten it anyways. Confirm.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Alright, we are level 6 now. And where did you see your quests? This is the main quest. Local investigations. Find out who is spying on Thelma. Bring back his knife to its owner. Blake Cox has fatigue. Midnight in the garden, we already have done this one. Reach the pharmacy. Is for both of them? Okay. Wait, somebody calling us? What's going on?
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
There are no antiseptics at all?
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Alright, so that's the main quest, isn't it? Going to the morgue. I'm a little bit lost with this right now. Yeah, enter the old morgue. Okay, that's the main quest. Well, I think this is a good point to leave the video. Getting a bit long now, and we have done a lot of talking. Next video will definitely be a lot more action, I suppose, because we have talked with everyone. I'm definitely enjoying it, but there are always these... There are always bound to be these episodes that are a little bit more on the quiet side, where you get to know people and get to know the city. Kind of like with Mass Effect, when you get, for the first time, into the Citadel. I don't remember, but I think it took me like 2 hours to explore the whole thing and do the side quest and this and that. Still, I enjoy the game a lot. I love the atmosphere, the music, and I really want to get healing people. So on the next episode, I'm hoping that we'll get to do some of that. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, you can like, subscribe, you can leave a comment. All those things really help the channel grow, and it shows your support for what I'm doing. Without much else to say, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Till then, you all have a wonderful day.